So if you go to healthempoweredfamilies.com, you can put in your name and information there, and you can then it leads you to a free training that I created that specifically talks about the cellular healing. And then if that's something that interests you and you feel like potentially could be helpful, then you could set up a consultation. So once we get into the consultation, that's where we talk and we determine, what are the biggest priorities for you and your child. And again, this is specifically designed for families with kids on the spectrum. And so I found that there was a lot of people that were reaching out and showing interest in coming to see me in my office here in Utah. But what I learned was, what, I've seen a pattern with a lot of these kids over time, that if I can implement these few things and do it in this sequence, that it can put us in a position of having great outcomes for these kids. And so I've basically structured a 4-phase program. And as we go through this process, it's fascinating where we go through it, and I provide the resources for the families once they choose to engage with me. I mail those to them, and then I coach them through it. And with the different patients, we might tweak things a little bit here or there, but I've got a pretty sound system that I've discovered. And then, of course, we fine tune and tweak and adapt as needed with each individual, because everyone's going to be a little different too. But it's been a fascinating thing. And so I've got clients from all over the country that I'm working with right now virtually. And the best way to engage with me would be through that healthempoweredfamilies.com website, where you can actually, learn more about the cellular healing and understand if this is a path that makes sense. And if anything, just explore in the consultation what we do. We have a pretty reasonable fee for the consultation. It's only, if I want to remember right, I think we just changed it, but it's like $37 basically just to do the consultation. And so that's an opportunity to gauge, and then it's not the right fit for everyone, and that's okay. And so that's where you can explore those options in the consultation with me, and to determine if it would make sense to do something. And so that's how I'm working with a lot of families throughout the country at this time, because I realize this is something that families with children on the spectrum, I would say there's more than enough availability to find good therapies where people live. But when it comes to the cellular healing part, what I've learned is it's a piece that's missing, and it's an aspect that isn't getting addressed as thoroughly as we would like. Now, you've probably heard of leucovorin and things like that, and that's a medication that it can be really powerful and helpful, but it is something that I would say is providing a need where there may be a deficiency in, the folinic acid, one of the B vitamins, and that can really make a difference. However, at the same time, it seems to be incomplete. And so as I go through this 4 phases with families, we're able to really hone in on getting into some of more of those root cause things that can be creating that cellular inflammation. You can still continue to take, some of those things that you're taking, like leucovorin or other things that people naturally take, but we kind of fill in the gaps where a lot of times it seems like families, when I talk to them, they might have maybe tried one of the phases that I recommend, but not all 4 phases, and where it's just how they all work together nicely. So that would probably be the easiest and best way to engage. And where I do, yes, work in fact with people all over. So like just yesterday I was talking to a parent from the Kansas City area. And then earlier this week it was a mom from California. And then, so just all over.